See the bubble there?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Right
Now,
up on top.
Exactly. The reason that's there is this car is identical to the 1966 car, except for one thing.
And I see the first signs of the logo. And after watching Ford versus Ferrari, I've always wanted to come here and check it out. From my understanding, Henry Ford was the first to have an assembly line, proper assembly line setup for his cars. That's what created the mass production. But let's go in and learn more and see like what it actually was. And welcome to the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit, Michigan. I guess Dearborn, Michigan. And the first thing I see, this is one of the first ones that I've seen, guys. The electric Mustang. I mean, I don't know how good it is. It looks good, but it is electric. Henry Ford, I don't know how you would approve of this, but your boys are catering to the market with climate change and all that. Even though it's freezing cold right now, all the water is gonna get frozen up again, but still, yeah. All right, we made it, you guys. We go. This is where they broke ground. The first shovel of the factory. And I don't know, it's the first TWA aircraft, I guess. Did planes use Ford engines? I don't remember. Rolls-Royce? Yeah. Ford? Not so sure. But we're gonna learn. And they have a ton right here, but there's that one gem that I am looking for. But I'm gonna show you guys all the classics. That's gonna be on a B-roll. So you guys sit back, enjoy, and we're gonna start with one of the first Douglas planes. Wait, stop. You need to check this out first. Come on. So I was just walking by the car, right? It was a Lincoln Continental. You've seen this car before, seen it in a bunch of movies. We know the presidential cars of America, and then I saw this. There's a weird handle at the back. So I was thinking maybe it's a spoiler. But if you come around, you see here, there's a footrest. So I guess this is where the bodyguards stand at the back to secure the car. So now we have all the fancy cars and coffees, but in the olden days, the OGs, check out these guys' car meet. Lit. It's the whole crew. I guess the whole town who had Fords met up, went out for a drive to have some fun and talk about engines. And slowly we're coming into the newer age cars. We've seen the classics, then we've seen the war cars, the old ambi style, big bum, Beetle style, and the classic 70s cars here. It's a 1955 Chevy. Honestly, guys, I don't know what these cars are. I've never seen them in my life. Maybe that. We have a similar one back in India. It's called a Premier, but that's from Hindustan Motors. It has nothing to do with Henry Ford. It's a totally different game there. And these ones, it's getting slowly newer. newer. And I'm gonna give you a small sneak peek of where we headed next. Yeah, I can see it in the corner of my eye. Ha! That's gonna be fire! But before that, there's another car that I just saw. I think it is a 69 Mustang, a convertible 69 Mustang. We're gonna go check that out first, and then we're gonna come down to the racing point and check out all the Ford racing cars. Correction, guys, I guess we're already in the racing section. This very much looks like a racing car. This is not a Mustang. Oh, it is a Mustang, but I don't know which one this is. But you and me both, we're gonna learn. So this is the Mustang 1 Roadster. Okay. And it's got the sick arrow right on top there, right above the driver's head. Tiny glass. This is sick. I forget the name for what it's called for the glass like this. So the glass does not have any edges. It's like a straight curve. Oh no, it actually does. It has a little bit of edges. It is 3 glass connected. I thought it was single glass all around like the Speedsters. And we have silhouettes of all the old models here and some futuristic looking car. This probably was one of the fastest at that time. Some old carbon fiber. It's 2010. It's not that old. It's not that old. It's 2010. It's 13 years. Maybe if you guys are watching this 50 years down the line, it might be a classic, but it is an Edison too. Okay, now moving on to the racing side. Here is the ZL1 1LE. I don't think this is the same one that we saw yesterday, but the carbon fiber on this, madness. Woo! Look at this. So this was the car in 1989, racing the quarter mile in less than 5 seconds. So one of the fastest cars in 1989. It was not the 2010 car. I misled you guys, I'm sorry. No. But this is right. This is lit. The size of that spoiler right there, mad. And the blowers. Whoo-wee. And this has got some lowrider game going on right here. Let's go find out what car this is. This is the Willys Gasser. Okay. It's like a gigantic Volkswagen Beetle. Just walking around through all the departments, and suddenly I was thinking, yeah, KB at a point had a Fiesta, and it could be possibly here. And I was right. Tribute to Ken Block's Ford Fiesta ST, which brought the Fiesta game on to the world. And that's him, driving through New York City, the Gymkhana track. Fire. Now, NASCAR lane. I've been wanting to see one of these cars since the time I saw Torque. And his name was Ford in that as well, yeah? I think so. The guy's name, the lead guy's name in the Torque movie was Ford. And I think it's one of these cars that he drove straight out of the truck when the bikes were not running anymore. Whew! The Lincoln Zephyr. It must have been so cool to live in those times. They had so fly cars. Amazing. The innovation that they have. And in this museum, they have literally everything. From train engines to planes, cars, buses, RVs. But we are here for one reason, and that reason is just about to come up. But I still, it's feeling very nostalgic looking at all these cars. And love them. You've seen them in so many movies, even in The Godfather. That was lit. The Zephyr, I think, was Don Corleone's car. I'm not sure. But without further ado, the Sports Car Performance Center with the original design of the Ford GT. The new Ford GT, not the old one. The new and updated clay model. The GT that we saw in the Netflix documentary. Yeah, this is it. Most of the world's already seen it on screen, and I'm very privileged to see it in person. And here is the fully built out and the final two special cars, guys. One was the championship winning initial Ford GT and the Chip Ganassi Ford GT. I'm gonna start with the Chip Ganassi Ford GT. It is beautiful. The full Le Mans drive running here, the whole 24 hours of Le Mans. On the car you can see how much it's been beat down, and I think it is straight out of the track. They'd never even try to clean it up. It's a championship winning car, just hold it as is. Hand, Mueller and Bourdais. So sick. This car was for a lifetime. This is one of the best cars ever made. If given an option, this and a Rari, probably go for this. And moving on, I'm surprised that that car is in there and the bigger, better winner is outside, is in public display. That's in a performance center, but this was a car that changed the game for Ford GT. And whoop, there. Dan Gurney and AJ Foyt's win of the 24 Hours Le Mans in 1967. What a beautiful car.
You want to know anything about that car?
Yes, please. Can you teach us a little bit about it?
Yeah, let me show you something that's very unique. This is, okay, first of all, this won in 1967.
Correct.
Okay, they started in 1966, they won in 66, 67, 68, and 69.
All right, okay.
Do you know the only reason they built this car? Ford Motor Company was going to buy Ferrari.
Right, yeah.
And then Ferrari pulled out.
Correct.
That pissed
And they
off.
wanted to go for the race to show them that we have the better engine.
Got it.
Right.
So they did it for 4 years, and then at that time in the United States, stock car racing was becoming much bigger.
Correct.
So they stopped putting money into this for that time, and they started putting it into stock car racing.
Okay.
But the thing that's very unique about this car, this is the Gurney car, the Gurney bubble.
Correct.
Okay? You see the bubble there?
Okay, yeah.
Okay?
Right
Now,
up on top.
Exactly. The reason that's there is this car is identical to the 1966 car, except for one thing. The chassis used to be a little bit higher.
Okay.
The body would be a little bit higher.
Okay.
The only thing they really did to differentiate 66 to 67 is they lowered the body on the chassis.
Okay.
Dan Gurney was 6 feet 4 inches tall.
Uh-huh.
In other words, to do that, they had to have room for his head,
Head,
and that's
yeah.
why the bubble was there.
Correct, yeah.
Now, another interesting thing about this car, the engine that's in there right now, there was a gentleman that built that engine that used to work here.
Okay.
His name was Mose Nolan, and he was actually in the movie Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
And after he retired from Ford's at 65, the next Monday he came and started working here as a volunteer.
Okay.
He's worked on this one. He's also worked on the Jimmy Clark Lotus.
Okay.
Let me show you that one. This one is the first rear-engine car ever to win at the Indy 500.
Okay.
Okay? Now
I mean, the colors, you can totally just look at the colors and you can tell it's a Lotus.
Well, you can tell exactly. You got it right.
There we go. We heard Dan Gurney's head bubble story now. Straight from someone who works here at the museum and at a point worked at the factory as well. And let's go take a quick final look at the Lotus right here. And the beautiful GT that's there inside. I think I like the clay model more than the actual car. The color tone of the clay model is beautiful. Okay. And then I also checked in to see if they have Eleanor here from Gone in 60 Seconds. But sadly they don't, but they do move it around. They might have it in a museum. Now, other people cannot name their cars Eleanor now for that reason. It is trademarked, but this is it, you guys. The Henry Ford Museum. America, baby. This is true America. This is the perfect spirit. I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of this, there's plenty of YouTubers who have come to the museum here and done a whole separate vlog explaining everything. But now I gotta run, I gotta join the museum tour because I want to learn a little bit more about the museum, and I'll continue on in the next vlog. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.